kind of keep you track of your license. A lot of the businesses that are here today required to have licenses, and the last thing we want is to work with an expired license. So being able to retrieve those documents is key. Having a good, efficient system will allow you to easily pull that information. So another reason why you want to do record keeping, records kind of walk or tell the story of your business. The better the records, the better story you can tell on your financial statements. It also, record keeping gives you how many years you have to keep. I know a lot of you always hear 7 years, 7 years. Well, we're going to talk about what exactly is that time frame that you are required those documents. We're also going to talk about the software that is out there. Now, it doesn't...
One of the best deals out there for ad-free music streaming.
I'm sorry, okay. Was that a question?
No, it just, somebody was just coming on.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the stuff out there. You know, if you're a company that's just starting, you don't need to have, you know, a very expensive software. You can do a combination of manual record keeping and software, okay? So let's introduce it. Right here, we have construction company, we have remodeling companies, we have contractors, we have an online business, we have someone that's starting to try to start a business translating documents. So every single business can be very different, but the recording and the tracking of information is going to be the same. How is this going to help you? It's going to help you manage your bank accounts. It's going to help you pay your taxes on time. It's going to help you keep a record of what your working capital is. When you properly deposit your records into your bank, it's going to allow you to balance. Your records are going to allow you to balance your checkbook, hopefully every month, and understand what your liquidity is. It's also going to help you with come up with solutions. You can see on your records, and your records can tell you whether there's a problem coming up, be a cash flow problem, it can be an inventory problem. Your records are going to be able to tell you, hey, you need to adjust your plan. It also helps you to track it every month. You can track it monthly, track it quarterly or annually. If you're doing it monthly, it kind of tells you the story day by day, as long as you keep records.
Yolanda, excuse me, I want to make sure that I'm on the right slide for you, because I know you've got them in front of you too. Are you on?
Slide number 5, different type of.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you just need to let me know when to advance.
Okay, let's go to slide number 6.
I can't see slide numbers. I can only see the names.
Oh, okay. So what's record keeping? Okay, so we're going to talk what is record keeping. Well, record keeping is a method that you keep to organize your documents. It could be all your invoices, all your expenses, all your accounts receivable. It's a system that allows you to actually easily access the information and make decisions if you need to make a decision, such as, do I need to increase my inventory? Do I have enough cash to do that? Record keeping also, it's good to have in your personal life. How many of us have applied for a loan and all of a sudden we see there's a lien on our property? Should have been taken off years ago. Well, we need to prove that it was paid off. So we need to find our record where it shows that that lien was released. You know, we have donations. We need to keep the records of those donations in order for us to get the deduction. So that's part of the reason why it's so important to keep not only good records on the personal side, but good records on the business side. So if you move to slide 7, one of the things that record keeping does, it helps you track. It helps a small business track what amount of information is coming through. That information could be your customers. It could be the sales that you've done this month. It can be the inventory that you have left. Proper recording can tell you, hey, it's time to increase inventory, or proper recording can tell you, I have too much inventory. I think I invested too much this month. I'm going to skip this month and wait until the next month. It kind of shows you the patterns of your business if you keep good records. You're not risking disappointing a customer. So if your records show that you have 3 customers that every other month request a certain amount of inventory or are asking for a specific service, you know that service is coming. So you want to make sure that you are prepared for it. You don't want to lose that customer. Why is record important as far as legal compliance? Well, you have contracts that you have to complete. You need to make sure that you file for the right permits. You need to make sure that you file for the right insurance if the insurance is required. So you want to make sure all those documents are up to date. Record keeping can help you keep track of those. Other things that record keeping is good for is, it lets you look at the licenses if you require one. If you are a business that does food preparation, you need a permit for that. So there's a lot of reasons why you want to keep this information organized so when it's needed, it's there. If you have employees, you need to record the amount of hours that they worked in order to be able to generate an accurate payroll. I'll give you a quick story of one of my customers that used to just estimate payroll, never actually had the hours in place, and that got her into trouble. So after that, she had a meeting with her employees. She was also in some situations paying extra because she was paying the employee from the time that employee left their house to the time that employee came back to their house. And really, she's not required to pay for travel time. So she made an adjustment. She realized in some situations she was overpaying, in other situations she was underpaying. So keeping good records allowed her to have a good payroll accounting. Another reason why you want to do that, sometimes as business owners, we are required to take certain deductions from paychecks. So you want to make sure you have a good record to do that. We're also required to withhold taxes. So we want to make sure we have that. Fair labor standards also are required. Now, record keeping is not going to help you with that, but you need to know that is needed. You need to have certain records that show that you comply with the Fair Labor Act. So this is where maybe a trusted advisor can help you, but you still have to show, still have to keep the record showing that you completed that step. We can go to slide number 8.
Yolanda, I'd like to do a quick summary of this in Spanish, if you don't mind. Do you want me to do it, or do you want to do it? I just wanted to talk about the years.
You can do it, and I'll add if you forget anything.
Okay, yeah. So, esta información es muy importante y es algo que no está muy conocido o muy bien entendido, que es un requisito por ley que mantengas tus records de tu negocio por ciertos años. Entonces, las hojas de horario, por ejemplo, cuando están en tus empleados, se tienen que guardar por 2 años. Los archivos de tu personal, de tus empleados, se tienen que mantener por 3 años. Contratos se tienen que mantener 4, inventario 4 años, seguranza 5, cheques y facturas 5 años. Y luego debes de mantener tus registros anuales y los planes de retiro para siempre, ¿no? Entonces, no sé si tienes alguna otra cosa que añadir, Yolanda.
No, solamente es una de las cosas que son muy importantes es la disciplina de ahorrar los papeles que se deben de ahorrar para que así cuando tú estás haciendo tus estados financieros y los pasas al contador, ese contador tiene toda la información que tú necesitas y está organizada mes a mes. Y una de las cosas que te puede ayudar, si tienes un buen récord, vas a tener la facilidad de ajustar. Si necesitas comprar más inventario, tus récords te van a decir, tienes el efectivo para hacerlo. O tus récords te van a decir, ¿sabes qué? Ahorita no tienes el efectivo, espera 2 meses. Tus récords también te pueden decir, si tienes un cliente que cada 2 meses viene y compra inventario y tú te das cuenta que no tienes el inventario, entonces sabes que vas a comprar el inventario para no perder ese cliente que cada 2 meses regresa a comprarte. So, los récords no solamente es alzar información, es también la habilidad de leer la información para que así tú puedas planear lo que vas a hacer.
Sí.
Me gustaría,
Analizar todo eso, ¿no?
me gustaría agregar algo que no sabe mucho de nuestra raza que trabaja, tener los números de contabilidad correctos y hechos bien, les ayuda a obtener un bonos con compañías de bono. Y compañías como la mía, a veces es necesario, si quieres hacer un trabajo de $100,000, un trabajo de $50,000, una compañía como la mía te va a pedir un bono. Y las compañías de bono, si no tienes tus contabilidades correctas, no vas a poder obtener un bono.
Bono es como una aseguranza, ¿verdad?
Diciéndole, le estás pagando a una compañía de bono, bonds, que le estás diciendo, yo tengo mis contabilidades correctas y con eso te va a dar un bono de $100,000 que va a decir, yo te prometo que esta compañía tiene la contabilidad correcta y puede hacer el trabajo. Si no, yo te pago lo que ellos no pueden.
Correcto.
Muchísimas gracias, Manny. Eso es muy importante para las compañías de construcción.
Y como,
Go ahead, Yolanda. You can go ahead and continue in English at this point.
Ahorita, like he just mentioned, sometimes you need to have a bond to do a job or for someone to accept your bid of a job. And having good financial records is going to allow you to be bonded. Some companies will not do it unless you have good financial records. So keeping track of all your documents, it's key. So this slide that you're looking at, it kind of tells you the years that you have to keep everything. Now, this slide doesn't cover everything. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to encourage everyone to go into the IRS website. There's actually a presentation there that talks about record retention, and it kind of breaks everything down for you. Why is it so important to keep these records? Let's assume, you get audited. Some companies do get audited. In banking, I've seen customers come to me and say, Yolanda, I need your help. I'm being audited. I got rid of all my papers. Can you give me 6 months of statements? Can you give me copies of these checks? Do you think if I give you this check, you'll be able to tell me or track where the money came from? Because I have to show where it came from. It shows like it was cash, but I need your help. So, a lot of customers come to the bank or any bank and they want our help, and it can become very expensive because the bank has to start researching. Now, if you keep good financial records, you can do all that. You can go back into whatever system you're using and pull that information. And later on, we're going to talk about why it's important to make sure that you keep your business records separate from your personal records, because at times when you get audited, you're not going to remember that 3 years ago when someone gave you cash for that project, you put it in your personal account. And now you don't know where to track this money from. So it's very, very important for us to understand what the record retention schedules are. And like I said, if you want to go to the IRS website, you can do that. So, I'm going to go to that slide number 9 and quickly talk about what are the different tools that you can use. So, it could be simple as paper tools. I can tell you my parents were a small business. They did everything on paper. Our dining room table was the office. Everything was there. Some people use a tickler system. Others use computer system. If you're very comfortable with computers, cloud accounting, if you're really good at that, then it's okay. Accounting software, filing, hosting, these are all the different things that you can use. But let's start with go to slide 10. Let's start with simple. What's simple? And this is what a lot of business start. They start by using file folders. You have a folder and you put it for inventory, a folder for sales, a folder for bills, and that's how you manage your monthly expenses. That's how you record your entries, and that's okay. Hanging folders. Maybe you have a cabinet that you put hanging folders in, and that's how you manage your records. That's okay too. There's some that might use the accordion. Now this one, I know a lot of my customers use it because when they come to see me at the bank, they used to bring with it. They used to bring the accordion, and some of them were like so old because they use it so much, but they will bring it and they knew it's like, I need a cashier's check because it is time for me to pay my quarterly taxes. It wasn't a computer system that told him that. He had that accordion where he would put whether a bill was due on March or April, when the quarterly statements were due. This was their way of organizing their records, and it worked for them. It doesn't mean it can't work for a business. It's just a manual system, and there's nothing wrong with a manual system. When we look at other things that you can do, you can look at, computer. Yes, it helps you with it's easier to retrieve the information than look through accordion or a file cabinet. It allows you to scan documents, so you don't have to have so much paper. Computer system also, takes less space. That's great. Some systems can be over the internet. That's great. But remember, when you're using a computer, your regular computer can crash. So you want to make sure that when you are done working every night, that you back up your files. That's very important. I've seen it where my computer has crashed. I've taken it to Best Buy, and they tell me there's nothing they can do. They can't go in. They can't retrieve my pictures, whatever I had there. We don't want that to happen with your business records and the event that you're scanning everything into the computer and throwing away the actual paper. So you can have a combination of both. That's okay. So we talk about, if you go to slide, it says cloud computing. This one, I like it just because I think it's very convenient, and we can all relate to it. If you can think about your cell phone. When you buy a cell phone, in the past, you used to have to take it in, download all your information from the old phone to the new phone. Now with the cloud, all I have to do is order my new phone, back my information in cloud, and immediately I can download everything that my other phone had, including passwords, including pictures, everything. So having a cloud computer could really help you. A lot of the advantages, it could be that it comes with software already. Some of the upgrades, because you're in the cloud, they're automatically done for you. You don't have to worry about the cloud crashing on you like a computer. And the information, it's easy to access. All you need to do is have internet access, and you can download the information. More and more customers or businesses are using this system. So I just wanted to mention it to all of you. Another thing you can do is business software. Now, some businesses are ready for this. Others, normal manual process is good. There's many business softwares that you can buy. There's one is a spreadsheet. How is that going to help you? Well, you can make projections. The spreadsheets already come with formulas. Those formulas are there. All you have to do is change a projection, and it will forecast what's going to happen if you buy more inventory. What's going to happen if you take those 2 big jobs instead of taking 5 little jobs. So you're able to manipulate the information a lot easier than it is if you had to do it manually. Email. Think about your cell phone. How many email blasts a day do you get? You get a lot of information through the email. This is going to allow you to do email blasts to your list of clients, whether you're running a special, whether you're doing a special discount. You can do an email blast to all of them. And then some of these softwares is accounting. Later on, we're going to talk a little bit more about accounting on the financial management. So I'm going to skip that one. Bridget, do you want to do the summary? I don't want to get too ahead.
Sorry, I had myself muted. Sí, vamos a hacer un pequeño resumen de todas las opciones Algo que es muy importante entender es que ahorita tenemos muchas herramientas modernas como tu computadora y hay cosas como QuickBooks y otras maneras de manejar sus sistemas. Pero la verdad es que papel y archivos y libretas con lápiz y pluma son exactamente igual en cuestión de mantener sus récords mientras los utilizas bien y los guardas. Los tienes que mantener al día y tienes que estar revisando tus registros para hacerlo. Si ustedes quieren tener alguna otra opción, favor de comunicarse con nosotros y podemos ponerles en contacto con asesores como María Méndez de Accounting Aid Society o alguna otra persona que te puede ayudar en tomar la decisión adecuada basada en tus necesidades. Pero no mientras, tener tu libretito ahí atrás de tu caja está muy bien mientras mantengas tus récords financieros. That's a really quick summary there. Go ahead, Yolanda. We are at 6:46. I am positive we are going to go over the 7 o'clock hour. I understand if people need to leave and kick off early, that's totally fine. But we will be here to finish the presentation. Entonces, si ustedes quieren seguir, está bien. Igual pueden hacer preguntas en el chateo y les podemos contestar o por correo, por teléfono o en el mismo chateo sin problema. Go ahead,
So
Yolanda.
there's only 3 more slides, so we're going to jump through those because
Fantastic.
a lot of these slides we already touched a little bit. Software to tracking your inventory, manufacturing, e-commerce, multiple users. That's when you get bigger, so we don't have to worry about that. We already talked about software for emails, is the email blast and spreadsheets. There's several softwares over there that allows you to do a spreadsheet for accounts receivable, for your sales, for your inventory. So there's a lot of information. Do you need everything? No. You start buying your software as you use. Once your business starts to grow and it becomes a little bit more complex, and when your manual system doesn't work anymore, then you start reaching out to those trusted advisors. They're going to tell you what is the best software now that your business is growing. So we can skip directly to financial management, because a lot of financial management, it's going to be it's going to relay into or connect, I should say, to record keeping. So if you can show that presentation, let me know when it's up. Okay, so she's getting it up, but let me start reading it. So we go, we have a lot of things to cover here, and there's a lot of information. So you have your record management system, whatever system it is. Your records are going to help you generate these financial plans. Financial management is going to help you plan. It's going to control your business, and it's also going to organize your business. We're going to explain to you how you can use some of these records to forecast next step. Go to the next one.
Sure.
Those are just the topics. So I already skipped over that because we are limited.
Good deal.
So let's go to know your profitability. So we talked about.
So real quick, Yolanda, I'm not sure I'm on the right slide. So I'm on the budgeting slide. Do you want me to? I've got.
You're ahead of me.
Okay, so we've got learning objectives, which you already covered.
Yep.
Okay, so got it. Benefits, got it. We're on the right side.
You can go to budget. That's okay. All right. So part of the reason it's so important to keep really good records, it's the records tell the story, and when you have a good story, now you're ready to create your budget. So you track your business expense, you plan for the future, you economize, or you stop making expenses when you see that you're reaching the maximum top of your budget. If you have to plan for an expansion, then your budget can tell you whether you can do it or not. Earlier, we were talking about, someone said they're in construction. So construction is a seasonal business. Not only do you need to have a budget to, for the season, but you have to have a startup budget, because we all have startup costs and you're not even working yet, but you have to start your, startup costs. So a good rule is to always have 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. So your budget is going to tell you what all your expenses were for, let's say, a period of 3 or 6 months. You multiply that. Now you know what your budget is going to look. Now you know that's the money that you have to save before you start that business in the event that you're leaving your primary job. In the event that you're leaving your primary job just to do your job 100%, keep in mind, most of the businesses, they take about 12 to 18 months to start generating a consistent profit. So please make sure that you budget. And one of the things that is very, very important about budgeting, a lot of times when we budget, we think about fixed cost. What's a fixed cost? It's your rent, your utilities, your salary, your cell phone. Those are things that come every single month. That's great. You have to take that into account, but you also need to take into account variable cost. Maybe I needed to increase advertisement. Maybe I needed to put more money for transportation because the job that I decided to take, it's about an hour away. Normally I only drive 20 minutes. So that's a variable cost. It's not consistent. Raw material, I decided to take this special, job, and now my raw material is going to have to go up because they want it, it's a unique. So when you do your budget, you need to make sure that you not only take into account your fixed costs, but you take your variable cost. And then sometimes you have a one-time cost. You have a job that requires someone unique, or a subcontractor is just going to help you for that. And that's a cost that you need to add. So when you're looking at budget, you really have to make sure that you include everything. If you go to bookkeeping, this one I'm not going to spend a lot of time. Bookkeeping is a lot like record keeping. The better you do, the better your records, the better you're going to be able to do your cash flow analysis, your balance sheet, your budget, because you have all that information. This will help you during tax time. It's going to cut time. How's it going to cut? It's also going to save you money because your CPA might not charge you for 4 hours worth of work because your information was so well organized, it only took them 2 hours to do your business tax returns. So that's a way of saving. It's going to show you what your cash flow is when you do your proper bookkeeping. It's going to help you make decisions. Earlier we talked about construction company and how do I take these 2 bigger jobs that's going to cut my cash flow because I'm not going to get paid until they're done? Or do I take these 5 little jobs that I can turn around faster and get the cash? So bookkeeping allows you to kind of make those decisions. So IRA, we already talked about why it's important to keep bookkeeping. IRA, you never know when you're going to be audited. So let's go back to bookkeeping steps. Obtaining a business account software, we're going to skip over that. We talked about how important that is. If you're doing a manual system, that's good. Open a separate checking account. This is key. You have no idea how many times I've seen businesses where they mix their personal account with their business account. And when it's time to do their taxes, it could be a nightmare separating your personal from your business. So please make sure that you keep it separate. Another thing is, a lot of our clients do not balance their checkbook on a monthly basis. It's very, very important to balance that checkbook. It kind of gives you the story of how many checks you've written, how much money is left, and that way you don't write that check because you know you don't have enough to cover it. Versus going to the bank and saying, what's my balance? That person, the personal banker assisting you, does not know that you just wrote 20 checks. So he or she is going to tell you what the balance is. And a lot of times, you will think, oh, that's a good balance, I'm going to write the check. But if you keep bookkeeping, you're going to know that that money's not there anymore. The check's just having clear. Bookkeeping is also going to help you track your sales. It's going to tell you whether you're having a good month or bad month, and then what things you have to do to increase sales. Deposit all sales. Same thing, same as keeping your personal and business separate. If you do get a cash deposit, run it through your business. Sometimes if you deposit into your personal, you're going to forget when it's time to do taxes. Write a check or use a debit card linked to your business account for all expenses. When you are doing your bookkeeping, sometimes you're going to miss some expenses if you use your personal money or you use your personal debit card. So now your budget is a little bit off because you don't have all the correct receipts or all the information. Another thing that you should consider is obtaining a credit card under the business name. Not only do you start creating credit for the business, it allows you to keep the information separate. Some business companies offer monthly statements where you can look at all the expenses that you had. Some credit card companies offer cash back. Great, you can get some money back. Some credit card companies even offers you to restrict where these cards can be used. So if you give, you don't want to give cash to your drivers and you want to give them a credit card, you can make it so that credit card only works in a gas station, but it doesn't work in a party store. So you can limit where the card can work. Pay for business expenses first. So, you know, we don't want to get in trouble. This is money that belongs to the business, is coming through the business. Let's pay our debts first. And then once the debts are paid, then you start doing your distributions. I'm going to skip over profit and loss because we're going to talk.
Can I actually do a quick summary of this one, Yolanda? Because I think this one's extraordinarily important. If you take nothing else of this course tonight, this is the #1 thing that I see every single day with my small businesses. So I want to make sure that we have it in both languages. So algunas cosas que son extremadamente importantes y lo hemos visto una y otra vez con los que su negocio es su único ingreso, que tienen una dificultad en mantener separados sus cuentas de personales y sus cuentas de negocio. Lo que es extremadamente importante es que tengan 2 cuentas de cheque, uno que es para el negocio y el otro es que para todos sus gastos personales. Cada mes debes de ver el balance real de los cheques que has escrito y los gastos que has hecho por cualquier lado, y hasta entonces puedes sacar tu saldo, tu sueldo de tu negocio. Entonces, para ustedes que son LLC, eso es muy importante porque la LLC, tu ganancia es tu ganancia personal, pero tienes que saber cuál es la ganancia, el profit, no es solamente el ingreso. Entonces, eso es muy importante de ver el ingreso menos los gastos y luego la ganancia ya puede ser tu sueldo. Mantener un récord muy fijo de todas las ventas y depositar 100% de las ventas, aunque sean en efectivo. So this is another error I think that a lot of micro businesses do at the very beginning. And we get this question all the time from our new businesses. Whether or not you have a formal business or not, you are required by law to deposit and to declare on your taxes all income, including cash. So whether or not you earn cash or you earn a check or you earn it by credit card, you must deposit, and you should deposit all of your sales, including the cash. You can deposit it and immediately take it back out again if you need to use it, but you should show it on your business account. La otra recomendación que dio Yolanda, que se me hace muy importante y que yo personalmente lo he hecho con mi negocio, me ha ayudado muchísimo, es mantener una tarjeta de crédito solamente para el negocio, para todos los gastos en línea, todos los gastos en la calle, lo que sea, para que no estés gastando en efectivo, porque es mucho más complicado registrar los gastos en efectivo y mantener los recibos. Mientras pagues con un cheque o con una tarjeta de crédito, es súper fácil al fin del mes o al fin del cuarto o al fin del año buscar atrás para ver todos tus gastos. Y si lo pagas en efectivo, lo más probable es que vas a perder el recibo y ya no se va a contar. Entonces, no les puedo dar mejor consejo que estas 5 opciones. So Yolanda, somebody did ask about a recommended software. I personally use QuickBooks, but often even banks have specific software. So I would actually talk to your personal banker and find out what they recommend. And I would also talk to your accountant to ask them what they would recommend, just because they may not be well versed in QuickBooks and therefore it may cause an issue for you. So I would highly recommend, there are a lot of softwares available. Some are free, some are very low cost. QuickBooks is the most well-known, I think, but it's not necessarily the best. So definitely I would speak to a trusted advisor one-on-one to get that answer. So I just wanted to address that one question.
What you just said, Bridget, sometimes some of the softwares can be connected directly to your bank website. So if you have an account at whatever institution, you can connect QuickBooks to that account and download the information directly into QuickBooks. So that way you can easily balance your checkbook every month. One thing that is not listed in this presentation, but I want to add, it's petty cash. So a lot of new startup business have petty cash. You know, petty cash is you pulled 500 and you have it in the business for cash transactions. When you're new, we recommend you don't do that because it is sometimes difficult to track the expenses, or you forget what you use the petty cash for. It's better just to write a check. If you knew you were going to pay cash, use your debit card. There's debit cards connected to your business account. So until you get a little bit more sophisticated, you have more software that can help you track that money, stay away from petty cash, because it could become an expense that you're not able to properly allocate. So I just wanted to mention that. Bridget,
yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah, if you don't mind, go to slide number 9.
Tell me what it says, because I don't know the numbers.
Oh, financial statements. I keep saying that. Financial.
Yeah,
so this one, I'm just going to tell you a quick review where they are. You've seen your balance sheet, your cash flow projection, your profit and loss. These are reports that banks use to approve you for a loan. These are reports that mortgage companies use when you're an LLC or sole proprietor to get approved for a loan. So what is a balance sheet? A balance sheet, I'm going to give you the simple terms. Balance sheet shows you the amount of cash that you have at that day, that time. So today, I have this much money in my bank, minus my liabilities, and whatever's left is it's what's on my balance sheet. Very simple. Cash flow projection. So cash flow shows me money coming in, money going out. Hopefully, you always have more money coming in than out. Profit and loss. It's a lot of people think, well, isn't that like a balance sheet? No, profit and loss is a period of time from the beginning of the year through June. What is my profit is lost? It's looking at financially at a period of time, not at one day. Balance sheet sometimes looks at that day that the balance sheet was created. Tomorrow it could be different. Profit and loss looks at the beginning of the year to the end of the year, if you only do it once a year. Some businesses, especially when they're new, they never generate a profit and loss. They wait until their CPA completes their tax returns. Some like to see how they're doing, and they'll create a profit and loss in the middle of the year. If you go and apply for a loan, they might ask you for a profit and loss statement because they want to know how you're doing. So that's the very easy way of explaining those 3 reports. The next slide, if you go to discuss, this says point 2. This is just the balance sheet.
Just real quick, Yolanda, I just want to acknowledge that it is 7:03, and I do know that we had said this was going to be a 1-hour event. Please don't feel embarrassed if you need to pop off, and this is recorded and will be available. You can send me an email. I just put my email in the chat. If you are looking for the recording, I can share that with you as early as tomorrow. It will be, the raw footage of this event, but you're welcome to email me on the Michigan Hispanic Contractors Association email address, and we can get that to you first thing tomorrow. So please feel free to pop off if you need to. We understand it's the end of a very long workday. We'll continue and allow Yolanda to continue her presentation, but feel free to pop off if you need to. Thanks so much.
Y Bridget, la información es disponible en español.
Perfecto. Eso también, muy importante. Toda esta información, hay paquetes de información tanto en inglés como en español. Entonces podemos darles también hay como una libreta de trabajo también disponible, y podemos darles más información también con mucho gusto. Gracias, Michael.
That's all the Spanish you're getting from me today.
It was pretty good. I was impressed.
All right, Bridget. So, all right, so you can skip the balance sheet. We already talked about what cash flow is. So go to the second slide that says cash flow projection. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about what this report does. This report tells you the money that's coming in and out. Sometimes as business owners, we have to kind of get creative to increase the cash flow coming back. So I know money goes out very easy, but how do we get the money to come back to us? So you guys have all seen it. You sometimes get a bill and it says if you pay it within 5 days, you got 5% discount. Or if you pay it by credit card right now, you get a 5 or 10% discount. When you do a job, some companies, this happened to me earlier, I got a discount if I pay them in cash and I allow them to run my check, if I pay by check and I allow them to debit my account immediately. So the money was gone right there and then. It was like using my debit card. So this helps you move the money in and out. Why is that important? Because you want to make sure that your cash flow is there for your inventory. It also allows you to determine, if you see, if you need to have enough money to pay your taxes, you need to pay those taxes. So maybe you offer a discount to make sure that that money comes back faster to you. So cash flow, what's the formula for this? So cash flow or forecasting cash flow is beginning cash plus projected cash minus any projected outflow. Whatever you have left is your ending cash. Ending cash can be used for inventory or for new investments or new jobs that you're going to be taking on. So go to the next one. Cash flow also helps you to determine that break-even point. Am I charging enough or am I not charging enough? I really wanted to get that business, so I really cut my cost. My proposal was very low, and now I'm realizing that I'm barely going to break even. Cash flow allows you to be above that break-even point. You don't want to be at break-even because you're working very hard, but you're not making a profit. Cash flow can also help you determine purchase of equipment because you're ready to expand. One of the errors that a lot of new businesses do is they think they have to find or finance all this machinery. If you're a construction company, I need a backhoe. But do you really need it? Can you lease it when you need it? Maybe it's cheaper to lease than to buy. But a lot of new businesses think, oh, I need to have equipment because that's what my business needs. Not necessarily true. Now, if your cash flow projection allows you to do that, for all means, do it. But it's not necessary. And this is where the cash flow shows you whether you can do it or not. Purchase inventory. For those that are seasonal businesses, I have several of my clients that in the past have always left, they know what their budget is, their startup budget is, and they want to keep 3 months worth of expenses. When the new season comes around, that money is sitting in their checking account. They don't touch it. They leave it there because they know they're going to need it come next season. So a lot of business drain the account 100%, and then the next year you're struggling to get going. So please make sure that you keep that in consideration. So I'll let you kind of review that, Bridget.
I had myself on mute. Como fluye tu dinero es muy importante manejar. Entonces, manejando tus tarjetas de crédito, manejando tus facturas, entendiendo cómo entra y cómo sale tu dinero es demasiado importante porque te puedes quedar sin líquido para poder comprar algo necesario en tu negocio. Por eso también es tan importante tener crédito para el negocio y vamos a hablar sobre eso el próximo mes. Entonces, les invitamos a asistir el próximo mes. Mayra, would you do me a favor and put the flyer in the chat as well so that people can grab that and make sure that they get that on their calendars for the July and the August date. Y como cuando tú tienes facturas que tienes que dar a tus clientes, también es una opción es darles algún descuento por pagar rápido o pagar con anticipación, pagar en efectivo, pagar con un cheque, en vez de darles 15 días o 30 días o 45 días para pagar. Entonces, eso es otra manera de manejar su movimiento de dinero. Very, very quick summary there.
All right, so go down to the one that says financial statement, profit and loss. So earlier, for those that were able to join that first session with Luz Mesa from Wayne County, she talked about completing a profit loss statement right on that application. Well, you know, profit and loss shows you how much money you made so far. If you do it for how much money you made for the whole year. Profit and loss helps you determine what if your expenses were less than your revenue. It also helps you determine, am I ready to move into a bigger location? Maybe working from home, it doesn't work anymore. Profit and loss kind of shows you whether you're ready to apply for a loan. Do you have enough cash flow or not profit to pay for that next expansion or that next equipment? Lenders look at the profit and loss and they look at your cash ratio. They want to know that there's a profit because lenders use that to get you approved. So if you go to the next slide, very simple formula. If you were in the last session, it kind of shows you how to complete a profit and loss. It's your sales minus the amount that you pay for those for labor or inventory. It's your gross profit. Then you have your overhead expenses that you have to subtract, and then whatever is left is your profit. So what are overhead expenses for those that are not familiar with it? These are expenses that are going to operate your business. If you go to the profit and loss statement.
Do you want me to move to the next one?
Yep, go to the next one. Okay, so some softwares have this profit and loss, and if you're entering the information correctly, you can go and tell your computer, tell me how much money I've done, how much profit I have so far from the beginning of the year till now. Some of the application that Luz was talking about, Luz Mesa was talking about, is you have to determine whether you had the loss in the months of May. I think she said May and March and April, I believe. So if you had a software, or if you had your record keeping, your bookkeeping up to date, you can just go into that month and pull that information. Very, very easy. It also allows you to determine how much as an owner can you now pull out. You made all your expense payments, you paid your employees. Now as an owner, you want to do an owner's draw. You know, it allows you to see if you're ready for that expansion. It allows you to determine whether you're ready to apply for that loan for that new truck or that new equipment that you need. And most important, it allows you to set aside money to pay for your taxes. I mean, we all have to pay our taxes. So profit and loss gives you all that information. So it's a very, very important statement that you can generate very easily if you have a software. But if you don't have a software, you can do it manually, as long as you know what your sales are, the amount of money that it costs you to generate those sales or to buy that inventory. That gives you your profit. Then you subtract all your overhead expenses, and whatever's left is your net profit. So that's very, very simple way of looking at it. But this report allows you to make decisions as to what you're going to do next with your business. So let's move on to financing. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Profit and loss, it kind of tells you, am I ready to get a loan? Somewhere in this presentation, I'm trying to find it is, go to the next slide.
Yeah, and we will be doing business credit next month, and so this will be, I think, this business financing. If this feels like a good place to pause here, Yolanda, it might be a good place because this quarter after 7.
So this all talks about, you know, are you ready? Are you ready for that loan? And how do you get ready? And the things that you need to apply and what information you need to know in order to have an educated discussion with your banker. And your banker is going to walk you through the process. So if you want, Bridget, we can stop right here because this is all going to lead into
I think we can pick up right where we left off next month, and then we can do this part as an introduction to the business credit. What do you think?
Yes, I think it's a good idea.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now. Maida put the Comerica Bank workshop flyer in our chat. And again, if you have not yet given your email address to Maida, please do so. We appreciate the 20 people or so that stayed on the call a little off after the hour. I would be remiss if I didn't introduce a few extra people here and also give thanks to the Southwest Detroit Business Association and Comerica Bank for their leadership and their support in creating these types of workshops for our small businesses. We do have workshops twice a month going forward. The second Tuesday of every month at noon is our Favor Southwest Detroit. And Maida, if you do me a favor, drop that into the chat as well, our next favor with the e-commerce. Tuesday, July 14th at noon, same exact link, the Favor Zoom link that you saw in the bit.ly, will get you e-commerce and contactless payments. So a lot of the things that we were just talking about in terms of receiving payments in a more fluid way will be solved with that process. And then again, next month on the last Tuesday of the month will be the next part of this one. So Yolanda and Michael, thank you so much. I do want to introduce Robert DeWalsh, the president of the Southwest Detroit Business Association. Rob, if you are attentive and able to unmute yourself, I'd like you to just say a couple of words.
Yep. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Bridget. And thank you, Michael and Yolanda, for not only sponsoring this one, which you've done very generously in the past to help us communicate with our small business community in English and Spanish. Watch out there, Maida. Getting attacked. But in this case, in the case of the boot camp, we're also benefiting from your expertise and a proven format for communicating good information on financing and obtaining loans and all the necessary things that small business owners need to master. So we appreciate the content as well as the support, and we look forward to continuing this boot camp series. So thank you very much.
So much.
Thank you.
So last but not least, that we would be remiss if we didn't mention that the Southwest Detroit Business Association is a membership organization. And so if you are interested, we have actually extended our free membership through the end of August now. We recognize with COVID that people are wanting to be connected, but yet may not have the funds available to do so. And so we are providing free membership. You just have to go to southwestdetroit.com/membership, and that will provide you with a dual membership for both the Southwest Detroit Business Association and the Michigan Hispanic Contractors Association. You are welcome to request an appointment with me or Maida, or me and Maida most of the time, and we can explain that a little bit in more detail later on. So if anybody else has any quick questions, I can remain on the line. I think we did have, Renard Richmond was one of the only people too that I didn't get a chance to introduce. And he is an incredible supporter for the city of Detroit. Renard, if you're able to unmute yourself and get yourself on video, we'd love to see your face. And we did have a few at the end, so I'd love to say hello.